Hello everyone, now let's continue to do the example in 12.2 all about vectors. So let's have a quick review. In the last class, we learned how to find a unit vector. So how to find a unit vector, just use the vector divided by its length, right? So now let's take a look at example 3. And for that unit vector, we call that direction of the vector. So let's see, find a unit vector in the direction of and that the vector is from P to Q. Okay, so we are looking for a unit vector. So firstly, the vector is from P to Q. Let's find the PQ vector first by using terminal point minus the initial point. We know there should be 3 minus 1, 2, 2 minus 0, 2, 0 minus 1, negative 1. This is PQ vector. That right? Now, the U vector need to use the PQ. We are looking for the unit vector divided by its length. So we need the length of this vector. So let's see the PQ vector, the length, which is V squared plus V2 squared plus V3 squared. So 2 squared, 2 squared, 1. Okay, so should be root of 9, which is 3. Right? So PQ vector equals what? 2, 2, negative 1 divided by 3. After we simplify, this is kind of like a scalar multiplication. 2/3, 2/3, negative 1/3. Actually, this is a unit vector in the same direction as vector PQ. Okay, so let's see. Next thing, we are going to do another example. Is a velocity vector. Okay, velocity vector. If V is given by this way, 3i minus 4j, we know velocity has direction, so it is a vector. And we want to express V vector as a product of the direction and speed. It's speed times a unit vector in the direction of motion. Okay, so now let's see what's the meaning of this problem. So speed actually is magnitude and times a unit vector in the direction. So actually this is a unit direction vector. Okay, direction vector. So we want to express V vector as speed, which is magnitude, times the direction. Direction is the vector divided by its own length. So something like this. We want to do this way. And now let's take a look. The V vector is given by 3, negative 4 actually, right? Or 3i minus 4j. So what's the length of the vector? Which is actually, this is 5. Okay, so the speed for this vector is 5. And the direction vector is 3i minus 4j divided by 5. Okay, and if we simplify, 5 times 3 5/5 I minus 4/5 j. Now let's take a look at this exercise problem. The V vector is given by this. Okay, and we know this is 3D vector. First step, we find length. 81 plus 4 plus 36, 121, which is 11. Okay, so the vector equals the speed, which is 11, times 9 over 11i, okay, and minus 2 over 11j plus 6 over 11k. So this one is the speed, this is the direction. So any velocity has speed is kind of like a magnitude and times the direction, right? So for any velocity, and this is the direction. That's the meaning of this. Okay, so now let's take a look at definition 7, which is midpoint. Midpoint means what? So here we have a line segment, which is P1, P2, and midpoint is the point in the middle of this line segment. So we say M. So let's see. The midpoint M of the line segment drawing 2 points the points are x1, y1, z1, and p2 is this point. So which is given by x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. Before we learn this in 2D, so here's 3D over 2. Okay, so we can just do a quick exercise. So let's see. If we have P1, which is 3, negative 2, 0, and P2 is 7, 4, 4, how do you find the midpoint? Okay, so midpoint should be half of 3 plus 7, which is 5, half of negative 2 plus 4, so should be 1, and half of 4, which is 2. So this is the midpoint. Okay, so the summary of this section, we just want to know several things. Let's see. The firstly, given 2 points P and Q. Given points P, Q, we need to know how to find the PQ vector. And what is the length of this PQ vector or QP vector? Same thing. And then second thing, how to express vector as 2, 3, 1, for example, express this as 2i plus 3j plus k. Okay. And the first is called component form, the second is just called vector form. And number 3, how to find the unit vector by using the vector divided by its own length. And this is also called the direction of the vector. So that's all we need to know in this section. The homework are pretty easy, so you can try.